Welcome to the Revolution Sports Gamer channel. And here I am tonight playing Tecmo Super Bowl. I did a poll earlier today. What game would people like to see me play as I give a breakdown of the Texans versus Chiefs tonight on NBC? So what I have to report today is a lot of propaganda. But anyways, the poll of the games that I said I would play were between Tecmo Super Bowl, NFL 2K5, Madden, NFL 2004. That was actually second with 23%. This was 37%. NFL Blitz 2000 and Game Day 98. So there was, everything got a vote. But ultimately, this game won. It's most Tecmo Super Bowl on this channel more than anything else. What's up, Chief Crazy Buffalo? Infamous Smoke. I don't know if you guys watched the game tonight. I'm just going to go straight into this game and play with the default playbooks. Going to go Chiefs versus Houston. So I watched the whole broadcast of the NFL game tonight. I was curious to see how they would, intertwine the politics that you can't seem to watch sports anymore without it being part of the broadcast. So Infamous Smoked watched the game, so he will probably be able to hear about the same things that I'm talking about. So started off, this was a little bit before 7 p.m. Central Time. I just turned it on real quick. My daughter wanted to watch a Ghostbusters video on YouTube where it's basically unboxing of an old Ghostbusters house. So I said, okay, we'll watch this before the football game. So watched that. Didn't really get to see too much of the Alicia Keys singing stuff, but I did see. Wow, that was quick. Oilers will do that to you. Let Freedom Ring, American flag, drummers in masks, the people singing not in masks. I don't know what freedom they're talking about because it seems like the government has taken away a lot of our freedoms. Chief Crazy Buffalo saying the horse collar before the half and the PI that took back Mahomes' pick was BS. Oh, yeah. It did seem like it was destined for the Chiefs to blow out the Texans tonight. But this was like one of the first times I've watched a game solely just to see how they would do the broadcast. I did watch the game, of course, as well. But this is kind of like in college they used to give the assignment because I went to school for advertising and marketing. Like every time the Super Bowl was on, to take notes and report back what the companies did with the new commercials and everything. That's basically what I did tonight. I got a full grocery list, not just one page, but the whole book of all the stuff that I saw tonight, trying to sell this idea of, how they want the future to be, which I call the New World Order. So we're going to go through this tonight as I play. Ghostbusters better than football. So, yeah. The next thing I saw, like in the opening broadcast, like I almost shut it off like after the first half hour because I already had 2 pages of notes. Of course, they threw in a Kaepernick slide, a little quick video of him. What you need to know about that is it's not just conveniently like he stood up for this in the past. Like this is scripted. It's a reality control program. That's what they talk about in George Orwell's book 1984, Orwellian society that's being built right now here in 2020. Well, it's being built. It's been being built up for a long time, but we're just, yeah. I'm not talking about Hulk Hogan and Big Daddy D's and Scott Hall, New World Order here. I'm talking about the one that George H. Bush has talked about a lot in the past. Former president. Okay, so they threw Kaepernick in there. Of course, you knew they would. The other night, you guys were telling me about Kaepernick. Smoke sent me that they put him in Madden 21 just out of nowhere. And he's like better than half the NFL starters. So I don't know if it's trolling or what. Yeah, newspeak, exactly. So, yeah, so then this one's a minor offense, but, you know, Doritos commercial with Tostitos. You got Gronk, Marshawn Lynch, Brady. Obviously, Doritos aren't good for you. They got MSG, monosodium glutamate. That one was a minor offense, but I did see that selling those guys together. Andy Reid wearing the face shield, which was funny later on in the game. It was like foggy in Kansas City. It was fogging up. I don't even know how he saw anything. But Andy Reid was at least showing his face. The Texans coach, I didn't see him take the mask off one time. Game Day 98 didn't win in the poll. This Tecmo Super Bowl did. No surprise. I was thinking maybe Madden would win 2004 or ESPN 2K5, but 43 people voted and they won a Tecmo Super Bowl. So, of course, you know, when they're talking about this stuff, this social justice stuff, they ignore that any other races exist, like Latinos, Asians, Indians, Arabians. Like, they don't even talk about them. It's just always black versus white. Of course, you have, you know, the unfortunate events that may or may not have happened with the shootings that obviously look terrible when you watch the videos, because no one should go out like that. But, you know, for some of these guys, we're glorifying guys that were previously criminals, which I don't really agree with. One of the things that I first woke up to, I was 23 going on 24, and I took a vacation to San Francisco, and we did a boat tour to Alcatraz. And that was one of the things that really disturbed me, because Alcatraz is one of the islands off of San Francisco that had the worst criminals possible. What's up, Darren? You know, Al Capone, some of these other guys, and we're on this boat tour, and they're playing like the voices of these criminals, like in interviews and stuff. And I'm like, why would I want to hear these guys' voices? Like, taking a boat tour to just see it is one thing, but then they go furthermore. They go even further. They let you off at a gift shop where they're selling merchandise of all the criminals. Like it's something cool. It's like, no, these were some of the worst people that ever existed. Like, why would I want to buy their product? So, I mean, I see that same thing being played out now. Obviously, you can't compare these guys to the prisoners of Alcatraz, but you get what I'm saying. Okay, so where was I going with this? Yeah, so they forget all the other races exist, and, you know, that's what they do. They talk about it. And here we go. More social justice warrior stuff. So then I'm going to talk about some of the commercials that I saw as well in this. And honestly, once you got past the first half an hour of the broadcast, it was really the commercials that were bigger offenders than the NFL broadcast. And Chief Crazy Buffalo says Latinos get shot by the police at a higher percentage than blacks, and U.S.-born Latinos also get deported. Yeah, and it's really not. It's not shown. The media. It's a manufactured agenda. What we're seeing. The media could show you anything. Unfortunately, less than 1% of the population acts out every day, and that's what the news shows you. They show you the worst stuff possible. Am I going to watch the new Cuties movie on Netflix? I don't watch anything on Netflix anymore, really. Then you had Walmart ads, very aggressive with about wearing the mask. The worst one was Uber, though. They're basically like, everyone's wearing a mask, and you got to protect this person and this person. And if you don't have a mask, you don't get a ride. So I guess if you're drunk and you just lost your mask, I guess screw you then. You're not getting a ride from Uber. They probably had the most aggressive mask commercial out of all that I've seen. You bought FIFA 20 for $5 on the PS Store today? That's pretty cheap. Might as well go for it. Here we go, McNair. That will do it for the half. Let's see. So end zone. In the end zone, you got end racism, because that's all the media is showing you is stuff that would make you mad and make you think that there's a huge racism problem going on, which I don't believe is the case. These are isolated events. And here we go. Koye. Might as well take this to the house. And I got more. I'm only on the first page, so we got ways to go. Oh, the Anthem girls are wearing the George Floyd, Breonna Taylor shirts. I don't know too much about Breonna Taylor. I just asked my wife about it. She said that whatever happened with her was bogus, and she really shouldn't have happened. But yeah, one of the girls had the George Floyd t-shirt on. So when they were doing the anthem, the Texans stayed in the locker room. Well, the Chiefs were out there standing, except for one player. I don't know who it was. I think they said it, but I didn't pay attention. My daughter was not too happy about me watching football, because usually, I play with her and pay attention, but I really wanted to at least get a feel for what the NFL was going to do. Because I've watched the NFL since I was a young kid, and I've always enjoyed the entertainment, but now I'm just totally turned on it. But one of the things that did interest me about it was that they were actually going to have fans, which the other sports leagues haven't done. So they had 22% capacity, up to 17,000. And one of the things Al Michaels emphasized in the broadcast is they have to be wearing their masks unless they're eating or drinking. I don't know why the announcer needs to tell you that. I'm not going to continue to watch smoke. I'm done. That's why I put all my effort into this, and I physically have a headache for what I put myself through. And really, all I could see is they're just really trying to divide people, which is unfortunate with all the things that they're doing, because they know that they're pissing off a lot of people. Some people are all about it. They can't see through it, which is why I'm, speaking out against it. Let's see. So basically, once the game, they had a moment of unity for equality at the beginning of the game. So another layer of this. Got to reinforce it. Like, it just lasted so long at the beginning of the broadcast. So then you got all the coaches pretty much in masks. I mean, throughout the game, you did see some of them like pulling them down and stuff, but they really basically in this agenda, if you're not like actively participating in something, then you're just like, you have a mask on. Like you just put it on. Like breathing's not important. Individuality is not important. Communication, showing your facial expressions, that's just not important. And I think by now, hopefully people can see that this isn't just about the pandemic anymore. This is about you permanently behaving this way. And this NFL broadcast showed me everything I needed to see. Smoke says, hey, I respect your decision, not argument for me. I feel college will do the same thing eventually during their broadcast too. Yeah, and maybe like some Division 3 games or something will be less about it. We'll have to see. Adam says he's playing NCAA football 04. Cool. Okay, so Mahomes, Super Bowl MVP, might be the best player in the league. They really used him as a propaganda tool throughout the whole broadcast. He had masks on at random times, and I'll go further into it on some of these other notes. The referees were in masks unless they were making a call on the microphone. See, and that's what a lot of people think, Road Gamer, but with all the effort being put into these commercials and companies doing trainings and corporations sending you emails about how their place is safe with all these measures, it's really not. I really don't think it is. So I just want people to realize, like, if you don't want this to be your normal, then stand up to it now, because that's what these people want you to be. Okay, so there was an ad. There was one Joe Biden ad that I caught. Of course, they were wearing the masks in the ad, and they talked about climate change. So selling a few ideas. Teddy Belcher says, I'm playing whatever the Penn State Quakers are playing. And Sports Freak says, screw football right now. I'd focus on football after baseball season over Sox. So Darren's all about the Sox right now. It's Ivy League sports time. Okay, so where was I at? Oh, yeah, the Biden ad. I mean, nothing too crazy. They were just attacking Trump, but those were two of the things I caught. Google had a couple commercials. Of course, they were wearing masks in the commercials. What's up, Antonio Wilson? Darren saying Trump 2020. Throughout the broadcast, they showed Jimmy Fallon and Miley Cyrus a couple times. Miley Cyrus, of course, she's an ongoing agenda. She started out as a Disney Club 33 girl and Hannah Montana, and now she's just a complete weirdo. Like, so all the girls, what the idea is, like, all the girls that grew up in that generation would still look at her as like a role model, false idol. And I don't know, is it working? She just seems like a weirdo to me. But yeah, I guess she's on the Tonight Show. Maybe as I'm speaking right now. I don't know when it starts. I don't watch that. There was a Netflix commercial about, what I saw in it was drag queens, the Pope, Michelle Obama. There was other stuff. And I actually saw drag queens a couple times during the broadcast, which I don't know why we're showing drag queens on commercials in NFL games. But, they're just trying to normalize a lot of things that are questionable. So this one's really crazy. Of course, they weren't too heavy on the broadcast with like mentioning COVID-19 specifically, but they did show about their testing. You love Cyrus. Rogue Gamer says, multiple Antifa lit fires in California today and released on $1,000 bail. Yeah, so they said they did over 64,000 tests and there were only 5 positives. But then they talked, this is what's crazy. They actually showed you the proximity chip contact tracing that they're doing. So, and I knew about this because my cousin's husband, who was in the NFL as a journeyman, told me that the Ravens were doing this. So basically, after they were done practicing, they got this band put on them to make sure they weren't getting too close to the other players on the team. So basically, they're like on house arrest, kind of physical arrest after they're done practicing. Teddy Belcher saying, awesome recollection. Thankful for your memories. Yeah, Rogue Gamer. I definitely. Yeah, so I mean, who are they trying to impress? Like they're putting bands on the players so they can physically track them when they're not playing. Like this sounds like slavery for these players. I know they're making millions, some of them, but I mean, at what cost? The NFL already exercises so much control over these guys as is. Oh yeah, the false representation of Native Americans, yeah. Well, it's the Redskins are gone, right? It's the Washington football team. I guess they're calling it right now. 51-17 took care of the Oilers. This is a good one for me to play because I did that without even thinking or paying much attention. So let's get 2 more teams in here. What happened to the way the screen looks? I'll go with Smoke says this whole thing is BS and it's just a blinder to keep us from seeing what's really going on. If we continue to let this happen, we are effed as a nation. Yes, and that's why I'm talking about it, because I cannot sit here and watch this stuff and be okay with it. It's just not okay. So let's see. Maybe I'll go with the Bears. No. Oh, the Rams. The Rams will be fun to use. I'll go Rams, Cincinnati. And there's more. Don't worry. There's more. Kickoff first. Yeah, I saw that, Chief Crazed Buffalo. So they're still going forward with this full propaganda campaign, even though the CDC admits only 6% of COVID deaths were reported were actually COVID alone. 94% of them had a pre-existing condition. Teddy Belcher is saying, would you wear a mask in your hometown where you are afraid to show your face around here? I mean, it all depends where you live, but in my neighborhood in Chicago, I know Chicago gets reported on like crazy in the news. No one in my neighborhood outside is wearing masks. Like, you only see this when you go into businesses, and some of the businesses will still let you in without it. So it's not like that closer to the downtown, because I've been down there a few times, but where I'm at, it's not like that. Okay, so the next thing, they use Mahomes. He has his Adidas commercial. It's basically a social justice warrior commercial using Patrick Mahomes again. I couldn't really make out what he was saying because my daughter was yelling at the time. But, yeah, there was that commercial. Caught my eye. Oh, so there were fans. That was one of the positives. But the front row of, like, the front rows where people would usually be sitting were covered with tarps for advertisements. this is kind of like what you're seeing. This is what you're seeing with the other sports leagues, where they're just covering up the stands with advertisements. But they did it where the fans were at the game still. So they, I guess, weren't close to the players, even though they're clearly far enough away. So that's just a little extra dollar, I guess. JC says, virus is still scary regardless. It's scary depending on what you listen to. That's for sure. Rams, yeah, I agree. I should win this. I need to play a little bit better. I think it's easier to run when you're not really paying attention, but there we go. Get Holohan going. Let's see. More commercials. AT&T one with, AT&T girl, but for some reason they have a guy in a mask shouting outside the window. I don't really know what he was saying, but again, more of this reinforcement. Let's move on to the next page. Roger Goodell, they showed a still shot or a video of him. He's in his mask. Wow, threw it to Fulcher's side too. Lakers post-game interviews with the mask would be a disgrace in Los Angeles. They do it because it's Orlando. Yeah, and that's, Patrick Mahomes, he had a mask on for a post-game interview. That's later on. They kept showing this graphic of the fan zone, basically virtual fans. And yes, JC, that is the idea they're trying to sell, that you're protecting other people by not being around them. These behaviors are going to have permanent effects on people, so you want to be careful with that. Of course, we want to protect our family. We want them to be healthy. But in a lot of cases, this is going to be barely seeing them anymore. Because of what I'm talking about right now, the fan zone, virtual fans, I know like WWE was doing this, where they had virtual fans on a screen. Kansas City was doing this too, where they just show people sitting there on a webcam, basically cheering for the team. And they showed that multiple times. Smoke says a virtual fan idea is lame. This is also, I've also heard this called the virtual world order, which it seems like that too. I saw a commercial for The Voice where Gwen Stefani's like shooting a shirt cannon to the person on stage because she wants to follow social distancing. So there was that. CVS had a commercial about how they could deliver things to your house. Of course, the pharmacist is also in a mask. More mask reinforcement. Rodney Harrison was part of the broadcast. It was Mike Tirico, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison. Why is Rodney Harrison remote? Like, it's just another thing, like getting used to just having people remote. But the other two guys could be there, but he can't for some reason. And then they had this real quick interview with Zeke Elliott, where it was another virtual interview thing. It was really quick. I don't even know what they said, but they showed that at halftime. There was Today Show, like the Today Morning Show that's on NBC. Of course, more mask, safety, keeping people safe, making sure you comply to your mask commercial. Mahomes, they showed Mahomes wearing a vote shirt. They also had like go vote for whatever that's going to mean. They didn't say which candidate or that voting's just opinion because the Electoral College picks the president anyways and has done that already twice in my lifetime, even though they one of them won the popular vote. But yeah, they just kind of showed that. I guess they were showing him practicing. He's wearing that shirt, and it was also behind the field goal posts. Another tarp that said vote. They didn't sell that one off to a corporate company for advertisement. Let's see. So Tony Dungy was part of the broadcast, and the best way I could describe him, because I like Tony Dungy historically. He was the coach of the Colts. I think the first black coach to win the Super Bowl when they had Peyton Manning. He was saying stuff without saying much is the best way I could put it. Like, put it into action, like being very neutral, obviously going towards the same agenda, but not really saying much at all. Like, he could have said nothing and it would have made no difference. This one, which in Chicago we're experiencing much of, and there was 2 commercials like this. Xfinity is Comcast. They had a commercial about their internet and e-learning. So they're showing how these kids are e-learning, which they're forcing in a lot of these blue democratic states, the big cities. And they just want people to learn from the computer, because what they're building is a technocratic society where you're basically subservient to the technology. So it's better if you just learn from the computer and not socially interact with your coworkers. I mean, not your coworkers, your classmates, because they're too dangerous to you now, because they could be passing this virus along. I saw a TikTok commercial showing some weird characters. There was also drag queens in that commercial that I saw. Oh, yes. There were cardboard cutouts with the Kansas City fans. 3 of them that I seen were the Queen of England, The Rock, and Marilyn Monroe. There were a few others. I don't know why you have the cardboard cutouts with the actual fans in the stadium, but they're trying to normalize this cardboard cutout thing already in some of the other sports. I saw it in MLB first. Okay, this is my last page. The other e-learning commercial was T-Mobile. Same thing. We got great internet, 5G. We'll make sure you're connected so you could do this e-learning. And yeah. And JC says, feel bad for all the parents that have to go through the learning process, especially the ones in elementary school or kindergarten. And that's, right on my block. I have parents in that boat, kindergartners having to e-learn. Like, they don't know how to use email or anything. It's just terrible. So then parents are stressed out as ever, especially if they have multiple kids that are in school age, because now they have to be tech support for their kids, troubleshooting, and some of them didn't grow up in the computer era. Like, they have jobs that are actually physical. The NFL players were allowed to have slogans or people's names on their helmets. So I did see George Floyd, Black Lives Matter on helmets. So that was another thing that they had going. More masks. There was a Disney World commercial showing people at Disney World wearing their masks. And of course they had to flash a few smiling faces, but the majority of it were people wearing different colored masks. So if you want to go to Disney World, you now have to wear a mask. I heard that they don't even care if you have a medical condition. Like, you just can't go in. I feel you, because my mom isn't the most tech-savvy person. I always have to help her with that stuff. Yeah, and that's usually how it works for, the kids have to help the parents with the tech stuff because they grew up with it. Infamous Smoke says the e-learning is going to raise a generation of dumbass. Just my opinion. Teachers and parents are doing everything they can, but eventually they'll get frustrated and say, screw it, if it keeps going. Yeah, but they need to push back at some point. I know, like, my cousin is actually teaching in Indiana, but all his kids are in masks. So all of a sudden, like, that just goes to show you how rigged the whole system is, where these red Republican states, like, the good option is sending your kids to school in masks all day. Like, that's not a good option. I know some of the parents around here would rather try the e-learning and hope that everything changes at the beginning of 2021, but none of them are happy with it. Oh, JC, I did see the email. Sorry I didn't respond to you. I finished late on that stream that night, and I forgot to get back to it. But I'll respond either tonight or tomorrow morning. Okay, let's go. We're still going back to the commercials. So, Advocate Aurora Health. I guess there's some kind of... I don't really know much about them. But they were very aggressive with the social distancing, masks, and hand sanitizer. So this was a reoccurring theme throughout the broadcast of the commercials and on the NFL side. Oh no, I'm going for this. And just so you know, the hand sanitizer is not necessarily a bad thing. Overuse of it is not good. It kills good bacteria on your hands. Also, a lot of these hand sanitizers are not they don't have good stuff in them. Like, only certain ones are good. So when they just try to shoot it on you at the grocery store or going in and out of rooms, like, this is not good for you. You don't want to be using this all the time. So if you're going to use hand sanitizer, I would recommend use a good one, a natural one. The one that I have is from my friend Ben's Body Basics. He sells the hand sanitizer, and it smells good, actually. It doesn't smell like alcohol because he uses essential oils. But yeah, so that was one where I saw a hand sanitizer. In the broadcast, they showed some guy in the Chiefs. I think he was a lineman, Tariq or something. I never really heard of him. But basically they said if he was going to risk himself, he was going to do it with patience. I guess he's a nurse or some kind of doctor. And he wasn't going to do it on the field. So I don't know if that's like a guilt trip for the guys that are out there or what the deal is. Obviously, it's good if he's taking care of sick people rather than playing football. I mean, that's a higher rank is in society as far as it's considered with me. But they just kind of threw that in there out of nowhere. Tardif. Maybe it was Tardif. Chief Cage Buffalo says Biden wins buying a Apache attack helicopter. Oh, man. Oh, this was another disturbing one. So NBC is going to be rolling out this new sitcom called Connecting. And it's going to be all about quarantine life. And this was another show where I saw a drag queen on the webcam. So yeah, I guess if you're interested in the new virtual world and you just want to see people on webcams and a sitcom, NBC's got you covered because they're trying to normalize this as a lifestyle for us. This one I already talked about. Post-game interview. Mahomes in a mask talking. Like, he was just on and off with it the whole time. Like, I think they really just used him the most out of anybody on this broadcast. Jim Everett. And finally, Collinsworth at the end jokes about being far away from Al Michaels and talks about social distancing as the broadcast is ending. And basically, there's no chance you're watching an NFL game without hearing about COVID-19, masks, social distancing, and all these other agendas going right now. So, that will be the last game I watched this season. It was pretty brutal. The NFL broadcast at times was watchable, but they had all their stuff intertwined in there too. It was really bad at the beginning, but the rest of it was just kind of interjected in there. With the commercials, those are a huge turnoff. I mean, they always are, but now they're just over the top. And that's pretty much the propaganda report for the first game. And I do expect NFL ratings to fall this year, especially with these teams that don't even let their fans in the stadium at all. And we'll see who lets their people in the stadium. See, if this wasn't a one-sided agenda, you would see some states just letting all their fans in like normal. But they're playing this like lose-lose game where it's either you don't go at all or you have to go with all these regulations. It's just like going into the schools versus e-learning. It's like you either watch it all from home or you go there with all these control regulations. So you don't see any NFL team just letting people in like normal because this is an agenda that's coming up from higher up than the United States government. Smoke says, NBC has been doing this since the beginning. Did you see Parks and Rec reunion? Full of propaganda. I did not. I mean, I don't turn on the TV really at all. I got the job done there, Rams vs. Bengals. I put Channel 11 on for my daughter sometimes, and that's pretty much it. This is the first time I sat down and watched TV in months. And it was terrible. Like, you can't escape this. Now, there were a lot of normal commercials where there was none of this stuff, like commercials that you would normally see. But it's like, so during this whole thing, you were able to shoot these high quality commercials with all these masks involved. And I don't know when they started. Like I said, I don't watch TV. I know I at least seen them a month ago, like just glancing at it. But they had all this stuff ready. They had all this stuff planned out that they were going to roll these commercials out. I don't know how they got that all together with the camera crews and the directors and all the actors during all this going on. Well, the only way I would watch the Super Bowl is if I'm doing the same thing that I'm doing now. Like, what they have done to professional sports is just inexcusable. I mean, it's always been entertainment, but now it's just, you can't, like, anytime you turn on the TV, you're probably being lied to at least 50% of the time. At least 50%. It's a truth mixed with lies game. And yeah, it's just way over the top now. So that's what this is about. It's about reinforcing all these things. Everything I've seen today, if they keep doing this the whole season, all the sports doing it, that's all you see on TV. They expect you to portray what's on the television. What's up, James Bond? Yeah, I don't have cable anymore. That was I watched it because it was on NBC. I just have one of those cheap digital antenna things. But yeah, that was a brutal experience to watch that. And Antonio, the Super Bowl, especially the halftime shows, that's where they really do some ritual type stuff. You can go look up different halftime shows. Not all of them are as bad as other ones, but if you want to look into one, specifically look at the Madonna one. But yeah, I mean, what positives do I have to say? Fans were let in the stadium. I did see some fans that just didn't have masks on, or they were drinking beers. They just seemed like they're like, okay, I'm in. I'm just doing whatever I want. So you didn't see. Maybe they'll come out with reports that they were kicking people out, but it didn't look to me like that was it. And it didn't look like they had quite a system where people were spread out or anything. It was just like pretty random. So it's just like, for anyone watching, they're just going to be extremely confused about all of this, like people being spread out, when or when not people are wearing masks. It's time to call Hong Kong Phooey to rescue society. Yeah, it's getting pretty rough. So, I am going to reject this new normal 100%. And, we need others that are willing to stand up to it, because this is no way to live. I know we all have the risk of dying one day, but, I mean, how do you want to live before that happens? And this is not how I want to live. The ones who didn't wear the mask during the game should have gotten free beer. Yeah, I don't think they were handing out any free beer, especially with only, up to 17,000. I don't know. You guys want to see another game? That was a lot to go over, so I'd like to maybe have a palate cleanser. Yeah, unfortunately, that's I try not to use that word too much because I don't want to insult anyone, but I have to just lay out what I saw and what I feel about it. I mean, it's just mind control. Like, these TVs are high-powered devices that put your brain into a certain state of mind for you to just accept. Nobody is sitting there taking notes and questioning everything that they're seeing, I'm guessing. Let's play another game. All right. They probably are now, though. Maybe not taking notes, but I'm sure I missed some stuff. Yeah, TV, look, in the 70s, Operation Mockingbird, government basically admits that they have CIA people on all the major news networks. So just look into that, and nothing's really changed. You're just seeing the unfortunate result of years and years of people not knowing that. Play a mod with actual teams. I was sent one today. It's a 2020 version by, let me see, SB Blumen or something. So he's a ROM hacker. I guess he was just sending it to people since the Tecmo.org's down. Let's see. Yeah, S. Blumen. So there is a ROM I could get to. But I like the classic. I'll play one more. I'll go Lions versus... Lions Eagles. James Bond's not a fan of the Tecmo. I did give people an opportunity to vote. What I would have felt personally for tonight is Madden 2004. But people wanted Tecmo. When you know the intricacies of Tecmo, it could be very entertaining. But not everyone views it like that. So who am I playing? The Eagles. And you know, some other guys on the channel, they might not have the same opinion of me, and that's fine. I've never told anyone that streams, like my brother or Mort or any of the other guys, what to say. They could say whatever the heck they want. I don't care. Because I believe in freedom of speech. Not being censored. We'll see with everything I said today if this meets the YouTube community guidelines. So if my brother wants to come on and give the opposite opinion, that's totally fine with me. I mean, sometimes these guys are on the streams and they're directly talking crap about me, and I don't really care. Oh, Shady J. Yeah, I've heard about Shady J. He's the Shady J from the Game Chasers. I've seen him in action. Not on his own streams, just on the show. Those are pretty cool. I mean, I guess Billy's the guy who edits them. Those are good shows, but I mean, it's pretty much dried up at this point because there's no games left to get, and now it's like you can't go anywhere. So yeah, it's pretty much done, but at least he had a good run. Maybe they're getting more creative with it. I don't know. Yeah, I don't watch Jeopardy. Yeah, it was nice to know me. How is watching him? Because I know a guy that tears them apart for e-becking and stuff like that, but I've never actually watched the stream, so I can't really say. He seems like a character. Well, I'm glad you stay watching, even if you don't agree with all the opinions. But I mean, some people aren't watching it like this. They're just letting it happen. They just want to see the action. But it's like everything it's like an onslaught of information that's getting thrown at you throughout 1 3-hour broadcast. It's unbelievable. If you just sat on your back porch and drank a beer, or just sat there and looked at the trees and nature, like I wouldn't have any of this information to talk about. That's why I don't want to put myself through it anymore. He has cool guests. Okay. Late night program. Shady J is hilarious. I left his stream soon as you came on. Okay, I guess he does have a good stream. I have to check it out one time. Yeah, and I don't know what else to say anymore, because it's like I started a sports YouTube channel, but now the leagues that have supported all these games over the years, I can't watch them. So it's going to be a garage of retro sports games that are being played. I guess the good old days, unless there's an uprising, a revolution to some of this. And at this point, they're so deep in, I don't know if there's any turning back, and if they're going to be forgiven. Had times when I understand absolutely nothing, but it's fun to watch and training my English. Yeah, if you could learn multiple languages and this is helping out. I talk slow enough, I'm told. So it's a little bit easier to digest what I'm saying because I don't speak too fast. He'll ban you for dissing Eminem. Well, I liked listening to Eminem before I thought about things, but I can't listen to him anymore. He just talks about nonsense. There's some enlightening music out there, even rappers, and he's not one of them. 2 triggered commies click dislike. Hey, it's gonna happen. Some people just wanted to enjoy their game without this, but the real reporting needs to get out there. Slow talkers of the world unite. When he started whining about his mom is when you were done with Eminem. Yeah, that's pretty it's like, I have a good mom. Why would I listen to some guy that's whining about his mom? I mean I know not everyone is blessed with a good mom, but yeah, it's like, what is that doing for the people listening to it? Oh, really? I thought he was Shady J because of how he acts, not because he likes Eminem. Oh, you're welcome, Adam. Yeah, sometimes I'll just stream and like I have in the past and just try to enjoy the game, but other times I'm gonna have to talk about some of this stuff because they're really giving us no choice. We're gonna lose a lot of what makes our society good, fun, community. What's up, Shella Bay? Shella Bay, you missed all the juicy stuff at the beginning. Yeah, I don't know, like, how you get to adulthood and still like Eminem. Sorry. I know some of you guys might like it. Maybe there's a good song or two. But, yeah. He's pretty whack. Oh, Barry Sanders. This one's close. And we'll see how a video like this is received. I know I've been talking about this stuff on some of the other streams, but I haven't just straight out put it in the title. It just kind of happens based off what people are saying in the chat. I will say though, like, based off everything else I've been seeing from the other leagues, it was better. Because the main reason is because they actually let fans into the stadium. I never meant to give you mushrooms, girl. Yeah, I mean, he has some talent with how he raps. It's just what he raps about. So, when you're younger, you like more superficial things. You're just listening for how it sounds. And of course, this is also repetition, where that's all they play on the radio is this stuff. And then you end up liking it. But then when you wake up a little bit and you're like, what the heck is this guy talking about? You just reject it and stop listening to it. It's not that hard. Yeah, I don't think he's been funny in a long time though. Like that is true. It was more funny, like especially at the beginning. But then it was just like pure anger. Rap in general doesn't hold up like other music over time. Well, yeah, I mean, it could, but it's just what they're talking about. It's just a lot of times it's just nonsense. Like everything the society does to the youth and does to people with TV and stuff, it's to degrade you and take you away from your spiritual self. And like, let's think about this. So, you went to a Kansas City Chiefs game today, and you were told how to behave, and you had to wear a mask in your stands. I guess your family isn't watching at home getting to see you on TV, because how would they know it's you? Because you now just willingly gave away your individuality by putting that mask on your face. The thing is, like, a lot of these people that are going to the game, like, they don't care to wear it. They're being forced to. Every day at work, I see some dude singing about watermelon sugar. Ugh. Yeah, I mean, I've heard some of the music just in passing, and it's really bad. Like, it doesn't have good melody. What they're talking about is terrible. It's all auto-tuned. But that's what they play, and they play it on repeat. I don't know what the answer is to all this. You know, mine is like, at some point, very soon, I'm going to have to pull the plug on trying to be part of this society and just existing where I can. What melody? Yeah, it's more of like I don't know, repeating pattern. Oh yeah, from the 60s. See, I say to the 60s, like, I think in 2000 the music got terrible. There was some still pretty, like, I grew up mainly in the 90s, and I felt like there was still some good music. But yeah, I'll go back to the oldies, and even if what they're talking about I don't care for, the songs just sound better, put you in a better mood. We're getting a bunch of chats, comments here. I'm guessing Shell Bay's putting some rap lyrics. Is that what that is? Some people know that this whole system is turning on we the people. And it's not just in this country, it's all the countries worldwide. There's a neighbor blowing dynamite again at 12:14. Barry Sanders tearing up the field. I already feel, though, like I'm living in a small pocket of society that lets me exist the way I want to. And it's not even been 6 months since they came out with the coronavirus scare. It's really unbelievable. Oh, that's Eminem. Unique voice. I saw 8 Mile when it came out. I thought that was a good movie back then. Haven't watched it since, so not sure what my opinion would be of it now. But probably not the same. But yeah, let me know if you want to hear more like this. I probably won't, like I said, I won't be watching any more NFL games, but I could do more like this or just concentrate on the good old days on some of these and have it be a feel-good story. We're going to have a good broadcast going September 18th and 19th in the Green Bay area for Tecmo Super Bowl Hardcore Championship, the full Nelson. And Tag Team Tecmo Friday night where you play with a partner. And then Original Tecmo Bowl tournament. Oh, sorry, Miss Jackson. Yeah, that song was, it always sounded weird to me when it first came out. Like something I never heard before. But I liked it. I'd have to go look at the lyrics to see what the heck they're talking about, but at some point some people get to the point where you're listening to music, but you have to have the lyric version of the video so you can see what they're talking about. That's pretty much where I'm at. Like I do like listening to different music, but I want to see like songs of the past that I've listened to and like to see what they're really, their message is about. Oh, Barry. After you play this game for years, you could win without even paying attention. Outcast, B.O.B., Bombs Over Baghdad. That is true. The average person doesn't even seem interested in hearing instruments played by real musicians anymore. And that's done by design. I did have a good time in Wisconsin back a few weeks ago. We were at a place called the Bottle Shop in Lake Geneva, and there was a young guy playing the saxophone, and it was just no words, just one guy in a sax, and it was awesome. It was a really good time, like just to hear the different things he was playing. The Bears versus Green Bay coming up. Barry Sanders tore it up. Rodney Pete, 82. I got to get back into the swing of Tecmo, though, for this tournament. But really, my main agenda is just to be around good people, have a good time. I'm not looking to win anything, but I'll be happy if I do. But it's not a big deal if I don't. Ides of March vehicle. I'll check that out tonight. I believe the Ides of March are from where I'm from, Berwyn, Illinois. I'll have to clarify that or verify that. But I think they played in the high school when my dad went there. Well, of course I want to win. I'm going to try to win, but I'm just happy that the tournament is going on and people are meeting up to have a good time. Like I'm just happier about that than going to win. I mean, I've played in a lot of these tournaments before, and getting together was always a huge benefit, but now it's like already an oddity. which is insane, but it is what it is. Oh, yeah. I'm sure he does. Troy's a big-time recruiter. But, yeah, I think that's going to do it for me tonight. Thank you, everyone, for watching and commenting. It's good talking to you guys. But I feel like I have to get some of this information out there if I'm going to be streaming and talking about sports. See you later. Have a good night, everyone. We'll see you